Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening we're going to be doing another movie review for you all. This movie is a dark drama from France, French language English subs, released in the year 2022, directed by Sébastien Marnier, and this film is called The Origin of Evil. So The Origin of Evil is about a very wealthy family. You have a man, his wife, his adult daughter and a grandchild, along with a housekeeper that live in the remote countryside in France in a beautiful mansion. So it's apparent that this man is a very wealthy businessman, but he believes that his family is after the inheritance, that they don't actually love him. So paranoia really starts to set in, but that paranoia is going to be intensified when he gets a phone call from a mysterious woman claiming to be his long-lost daughter. So he invites the daughter to the house. He wants to know more about her, but the more he knows about her, the more secrets come out within this family that threatens to destroy everything that he made for himself. And so whether or not it does is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on The Origins of Evil. This is a very difficult film to recommend because if you go in there with expectations that the marketing actually creates, you're going to fool yourself into thinking that it's not a very good movie because the reality doesn't match the hype. And so it really shoots itself in the foot as far as appealing to an audience because it bills itself as a thriller / dark comedy, and I don't believe it's either. It's more a case of a French noir. This is a movie about intricate characters and intricate situations that really spiral out of control, and it's the attention to the minor details that forces you to use your brain. So if you go in there expecting an action film or a straight out comedy, you're going to be bitterly disappointed. But if you are a fan of films from Dominique Mole, who created Harry Is Here to Help, Lemming with Laurent Lucas, and also The Monk with Vincent Cassel, this is a master of actually creating really fine details that snowball into something so much more. Initial impressions never last, and so what you see at the start of the film has totally transformed by the end, and that's exactly the way I can sum up The Origin of Evil, is that at the start of the film you see this family, you think, alright, well I kind of know where this movie's going to go, but then all of a sudden the intricate details snowball into something so much more, and when it all gels together you realise that you've been on a roller coaster of a journey. And that's something that I really appreciate about this film. This movie does have its issues, but it is definitely for a very select audience, and if you appreciate that fine art of, you know, those intricate sort of details that a lot of directors overlook because they don't believe it's important, but when it's done properly those little details amount to something so much more. And so at the start of this film, when these characters are introduced to the audience, there's no likable qualities about them. So you don't know who to root for, you don't know who that main character is that you're supposed to go on the journey with, and so you don't know what's around the corner for each individual. And so that creates a level of vulnerability. It creates that level of suspense because you're never quite sure where this director is taking you, because as the layers are peeled off these characters, you think to yourself, alright, there's so much more than what I actually first thought when I first met them. And so it's a movie about lies and betrayal, and it's a very sinister film. The movie does have a very, very dark heart, but it doesn't take itself too seriously to the point of trying to genuinely disturb you. There are some scenes that are actually quite shocking without going over the top, and so that was something that I really appreciate, but it never loses sight of what it wants to do. It wants to create an intricate story with intricate characters, and what it really needed was a very good script, and I actually thought the script worked well. And so that was something that I really liked. I thought the actors do a fantastic job at creating these colourful characters, again without going over the top into caricature, which is another thing that I really appreciated. The movie is not about violence. The movie is definitely about, as I said, lies, and how lies can really destroy something. You can build a life for yourself, and how quickly the house of cards can really fall down once, you know, the secrets are out in the open. And when the secrets are out in the open in this movie, I thought as that was definitely worth knowing, and so there was no sense of anti-climax, and that's something that I really, really appreciated. So the cinematography has a brooding intensity to it. On the outside, it does look very beautiful, but it looks very superficial. The artificial sort of quality that the visuals creates that sense that something is off, something is very unnerving. And that unnerving quality starts to intensify because the snowball effect, and when the web of lies come out, this is where that sense of beauty that you see at the start of the film with the visuals starts to go into something completely different. And so as the film starts to progress, it starts to really change its colours, and that's something that I really liked. And so it does have that train wreck sort of feel to it, where you don't really want to see what's going on, but the director has captured you in a way that's very hypnotic, and that was something that I really, really liked. So production, it is very, very good, and that's something that I would recommend if you are a fan of this specific type of film. If I have issues with this movie, it just doesn't have that theatrical lasting quality. It doesn't have that sense of memorability in the way that you're going to remember it a few weeks after you've watched it. It's definitely a film after you've seen it. It's a movie that you don't only need to see once, and you're going to forget it pretty soon because, yes, at the actual moment that you're watching it, it's worth it, but it just doesn't have that memorable quality because that's just the problem with French noir type of movies, you know, these dark sort of dramas, that you just feel as though it's missing that theatrical quality to actually really stand out amongst films that are very similar to that. And so that's something that I didn't like about the movie. I wouldn't say necessarily something I didn't like about the movie, but it's just something that I just thought could have been a little bit more theatrics pumped into the film to actually make it, as I said, last in memory a bit longer. But pushing that aside, if you are a fan of French noir, The Origin of Evil is definitely one I would recommend. It's very, very well made, and it was definitely worth the effort. So overall, for The Origin of Evil, I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars. French noir, it is very good, but as far as a traditional film, it's just lacking, as I said, that punch that will appeal to a wider audience. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.